Twintuitive717. I am back with another video. I am here with Mega Good Vibes today. She's trying to give me a bath. We just want to welcome you guys to the channel. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, I love you, family. I appreciate you guys. And for those of you who are just hopping on and maybe you're just listening and thinking about subscribing, I welcome you to join the community. It's just a safe place with some really mega good vibes to keep you guys feeling grounded and supported at this time, okay? I was going through just some reflections last night, and this card actually came up into my head, and just the image of it wouldn't go away. And so I sat down with it for a bit, and I was trying to decipher a lot of the messages I was getting from it. And I tried to ignore, like, the rules of the tarot so much, and I just wanted to be free with the images alone. And what I get from this is that, the masculines are coming in with communication, but in a way where it's like they're trying to let the feminines know, like, I've spent some time alone, and I see you as this very, beautiful woman who is strategic and defined. And I think that this path has not always been easy, and he knows that, within a lot of the time that he's spent alone. And now he's trying to catch up to her so much that he has to get a horse, whereas she's on foot, but she is stopping to talk to him. Like, she pulled up her dress so that it's not going to get in the way of her taking her steps. And like, he can see the way she's adorned. She really takes care of herself. She decides whether or not she wants to accept his offer, and I think for him, he's noticing that she's not all completely with her hands open there, like, yeah, sure, oh, a fruit. It's like, she's maybe asking questions like, what is that? A lemon? Kind of thinking to herself a little bit. Listening to him is what I get. He wanted to purposely give her the lemon to kind of surprise her and let her know he's serious this time, right? He wants to provoke that emotion in her where she stops and will listen to what he has to say. And, she's the type of woman where it's like, you can see her thinking about it because her hands aren't all open. Okay, so that's her thinking about it. But she knows a lot about this journey, masculines, and she will make, lemonade or even like a lemonade company out of that lemon that you're giving to her. But I think it's very beautiful here that the message he wants you to know is that he is coming from a place of authenticity, when it comes to really offering communication this time around, right? Like actually owning up to maybe the idea that it hasn't been smooth sailing. And I think that that's what many of us have kind of been a little bit stumped at times, or stumped by at times, within this connection. And so, the masculines have had a lot of realizations, and I got the Three of Pentacles because I feel like a lot of these realizations come from the fact that it's like he doesn't only appreciate you as, this very strong, independent woman, but, at the same time, you can be very nurturing as well, very warm. And I think that, what he's trying to say about this is many of the masculines really miss coming home to a warm space, or that's what they daydream or fantasize a lot about. And many of them are in situations where they may have, a house and the whole thing down on paper, but it doesn't actually feel like a home or feel warm like a home. They miss a nice, comfortable space to come home to. They miss, the dog coming up to them, kind of like in the Ten of Pentacles here, ready to be walked. Maybe the cat curled up by the window or on the desk, for example. But that's, kind of what they fantasize and think about. And that's like a clear message that they're wanting you to send. It's like they're in this space of thinking of the feminine, and when they think of her, these are the things that they genuinely want that, maybe they might be afraid to kind of put out there. Many of them are in situations too where, not only, oh, she's like wanting my hugs. She's so cute. You're so demanding. What I get is like many of them are in situations where, they take on the masculine role, but then they have to come home and like, also be prepared with like food and, maybe they have to like clean up after themselves type of thing. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying like, for the masculines, like what they picture is coming home to a feminine who, nurtures him in a way where he comes home to these things. And I think the Three of Pentacles, it's like old-fashioned in that way, and maybe a lot of it's like his own conditioning, but that's just where his mind is in terms of like, for him, what that really means. Like he wants to just take care of her and be her protector in that old-fashioned way. But whatever she decides to do, she knows at the end of the day, like, providing him with a beautiful space where he feels good at, it's just something that he misses, or it's something that he wants or thinks about a lot. Maybe the smell of food in the air, the fact that, she can take care of the home in a way that makes him feel just nurtured or warm when he gets home. Many masculines too have been involved with like really young karmics where they're often having to like, pick up after them or be very, very responsible for them in certain ways, where maybe the masculines are now starting to see where there's like a lot of inner work that the karmics need to do, and how much they've relied on the masculines for that, and vice versa, even, with the feminines as well. That's why there's so many of us in like, different situations and different dynamics. But that's just where he is right now, charging forward, but at the same time, with this understanding now that just you are worthy of everything in his eyes, feminine. It's like taking care of you because he knows that you know the ways to nurture and take care of him. So yeah, those are just strong messages that I was getting, because I know that the feminines have done so much work, and many of you at this time, like I think 2020 was like a hard lesson of just letting go, and letting go didn't necessarily mean that you were letting go of the connection. It's just you were letting go of certain cycles that you didn't want anymore, and I think for many of us it was like we stepped on this journey, and for a long time we kept thinking, because it's our twin flame, what does this mean for us? Like, do we just stop our lives and wait? And I think that, a lot of the feminines have been reminded, it's like, no, you don't wait. You keep walking on the path. You'll keep experiencing abundance. And when he's ready to catch up to you, he will find the ways to do it. He will find the ways to show you with the lemon there, right? It speaks volumes about, what he has reflected on in this time of separation with you. And, again, with this Ten of Pentacles, I think for many of the masculines, it was really hard to admit that that's what they wanted. Hang on, guys. Let me just take off this bracelet so I can really pet Nega without making that annoying sound. Yeah, like many of them were afraid to go to that place and admit that at the end of the day, like, that's what they want. And I think that for many of us, it's scary to go to that place because it reminds us of our own childhoods and maybe things that we didn't have, or maybe things that we always wanted to see with our own parents and we never had. So, then it just kind of became this very fearful feeling of connecting with another person authentically through love, because it was just a horrible reminder of everything you knew or ever experienced or saw or felt about love. And so I'm just here to let you know, masculines, if you're tuning in and listening, like, it's not a fantasy. Like, you really did attract the type of woman who can hold it down and nurture you and take care of you, but at the same time, like, she doesn't necessarily, need you to be a protector, but it's just nice that you are. And I think that, the masculine doesn't need you to, do all of these things for him, feminine, cook and clean and take care of him. I think through the separation, he's learned how to do quite a bit of that for himself. And he's maybe experienced a lot of what you might go through in your day as well, and realized just how hard you work and just how much sacrifice it takes to put yourself at the end of your schedule. Sometimes I know those of you who are super busy and, bedtime is really your time. And so you might just sacrifice an hour of your bedtime just to have me time, feminine. So, he's going through this process by separating himself away from everything that is not the Ten of Pentacles, like the feeling of completion. He would rather be alone in his space doing all of these things for himself, whereas before he might have relied on somebody else to do it. And maybe that's the thing that was like, holding him accountable or like like not accountable, but like, tied to this person. It was like, oh, well, who's going to cook your meals? Or, well, and vice versa with, like the feminines, it's like, well, who's going to pay the mortgage type of thing. So both of them kind of have gone on these individual paths of making themselves very independent and resourceful. And what it's doing in turn is like, it is creating this balanced harmony, like everything that they've ever wanted. I think Pentacles comes up because for both of them, they realize like, okay, we need Pentacles to do this, but how do we get there? And going on this road of like just being authentic and being still, and it's taking me down to the last card, which is the Queen of Pentacles energy. But, mastering this energy of just being very still and starting with the small stuff, accepting who we are, going after what it is we desire without being scared or fearful of what other people think, or, just in this mood of constantly trying to like please other people. I think that they've both, really stepped out of this energy a lot. And, the universe has really done a lot to provide them with the necessary means of the space and time to really reflect and hone in on their powers a little bit. Look at this kitty cat. I'm just going to shift you over just a little, my love. But, I really do feel like this is a time of, the feminines really trusting the space right now and understand that the masculines are on their way. But it's like, look at you, you're in your Queen of Pentacles energy. And, he still feels like a knight. And in order to catch up to her, he's going to have to speak some truth here and let her know about the path, leaving a sour taste in her mouth. But I think a lot of his explanation and trying to catch up to her is letting her know, like, having this, I never thought was ever going to be a possibility for me. And then I met you and it became a possibility. And instead of, embracing it, he might have run in the opposite direction. But I think that the feminine sat still and she really, understood and realized, what her manifestations meant to her. And that's why she's holding the biggest coin in the pot right now. She is really, she's really mastered the art of sitting still and having things come to her, by just tuning in and first of all, assessing and discerning what it is she desires and wants. And by doing that, she's been able to rid herself of things that don't belong, maybe by going out into nature, closing her eyes, and being at peace with being alone, and realizing that sometimes being alone is happiness, it's what's needed. And that has given her the strength to now really charge forward in what it is she desires and wants. And whether it's waiting for her masculine, and maybe some people might label her as, oh, well, you shouldn't wait on a man that does this, and, oh, well, you shouldn't do that, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, she's so resourceful and accomplished that no one dares say a word about any of her decisions. And that's where the masculine is striving to get to, feminines, okay? I hope this short reading finds you guys well. I just wanted to let you guys know what was up with the energy, because that card of the Pentacles with the Knight, it kept coming up in terms of when they do come forward, it's going to acknowledge a lot of the past arguments and fallouts that you guys have had, and just, not sweeping it under the rug and constantly just moving forward yet to experience another cycle. I think a lot of the, queen energy in this is bringing forward a very mature knight wanting to be the king, and then the emperor kind of energy out of him. And it's really taken the feminine a lot to embrace her solitude and her silence and her intuition. And I think it'll be smooth sailing in 2021 for the both of them, because I think that 2020 has been a rough road of learning to just be open, honest, and authentic. And that translates to the masculines as just, maturing a little bit, not being so scared and in this very like boyish, fearful energy. So yeah, I'm tempted to shuffle one more from the Tarot of Sexual Magic just because I ended off with the Queen of Pentacles energy. Like, we know he's charging towards her, but just out of curiosity. Like what's on his mind at this time in terms of like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to come up. So he's in his feels in terms of like, I love you, you fill my cup, and I don't care what I have to do, how vulnerable I have to get. I want to enjoy you by my side. Maturing when it comes to his emotions. I love that the Queen and King are beside each other too. It's like, the reason I like it is because I feel like this ended off with the Queen energy of her, having to really step into the 3D world and accept that very masculine side of herself where it's like, okay, you know what? I see what's happening and it's up to me to make choices about what it is I want and desire and stay strong and hold the faith in that. And I think for him, it's really just like surrendering to your emotions. That for me, the King of Chalices too represents someone who is no longer afraid to, put people in their place because they feel fulfilled emotionally. And for many of the masculines, like it translates to like the feminine having their back, which they've never really felt before. And this makes them feel very fulfilled in every other aspect of their lives. It's like they have to be in the King of Chalices energy, feeling very supported by her. And I love that she's sitting down in front of him because it is almost like she is guarding him in this very sensual, intimate way. It's like just the very thought of her lingering there, being there for him. It's almost like surrendering to him, even though he knows she could very well be in this energy if she wanted to. The Queen of Swords, like the Queen of Wands, she sees him in his King of Chalices energy, like his King of Cups, like this very mature type of nurturing and protective love that's very responsible, and he can reciprocate it quite well. Yeah, like of course she's gonna sit down and be very trusting and again, maybe even submissive to him in this way, but he has to master this energy. Like you're not going to catch her sitting like this for any of the nights or, actually maybe the Knight of Cups, she might be sitting like this for in the water. I wonder if that's accurate. That'd be interesting, eh? Because the thing I get too is if that is accurate, and it could be the King of the Knight of Cups because she's obviously in the water. Because it's like almost like she's teasing him, right? In the card where he's the knight. So it's like he's coming towards her on the horse and she's sitting down in the water and she's letting him know that it's like, I can surrender to you, and he doesn't really know how to make that happen yet until he can really get off the horse and sit down. Yeah, here it is. Get off the horse and sit down on a throne, instead of like taking action, or maybe saying that you're going to take action. It's like actually doing it and being the king and dealing with the consequences of that. Isn't that interesting? It's like she's sitting down for him in both of the pictures. But I think, the only way for her to do that is for him to actually come to terms with his emotions, like actually charge towards it. And I feel like he has like the flame there because it's like he's working day and night to come towards her. Even through the dark, like on horse, like he needs to see where it is he's going because at the end of the day, like he's headed towards his divine feminine. And the only way she will sit down and be in this energy of like waiting or being patient with him or surrendering to him in any way is when he is moving in the energy of feeling his emotions, feeling the love that's within him. Because many of them are scared to go to this place, but at the same time, they talk the talk when it comes to being intimate with the divine feminine, like through phone conversations, through text messages. And that's why the feminines know that this connection is unlike anything that they've ever experienced before, because the divine feminines, when they talk with the masculines over the phone, they can hear it in his voice that he's never spoken to anyone in this deep way before. And that's why he's so magnetized to her. And she can feel it because she has never felt these things while speaking like this to anyone before. So it's like there's an exchange that's going on here energetically between them, and I feel like it's the merging of like, the energy of like the pentacles with the king. It's like getting comfortable in the physical world, getting comfortable in your emotions. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's beautiful. It's really helpful to like spend time with the cards and make friends with them a little bit and really look at the images too in them to really get some good clear messages here, because I love the way that she's just sitting down in both images with the cups. It's beautiful. I love it, and I think that the divine feminines had to learn that as well. It's like the only way you will actually reciprocate anything or slow down in this way, or move in this way, which he really, really, really wants you to and has never had ever before. It's like you're almost saying to him, well, then surrender, surrender, surrender. And he's like, I'm coming, baby. All right, guys, I love you. Take care of yourselves. I will catch you in the next video. Check me out on Wizio if you want a personal reading. It's 20% off right now, valid until the end of January, just as my way of saying thank you so much for all of your love on there. It is just phenomenal connecting with you guys one-on-one and seeing your photos and hearing your stories. But yeah, check me out, guys, there if you're guided to. Until the next video, I love you guys. Stay safe and happy holidays. Bye from me and Mega.